Hi, I'm Superintendent Public Instruction Chris Reykdal. We are ready for an awesome school year in the state of Washington. This has been a remarkable last year and a half, but we keep learning and we keep growing and we keep understanding how to help our students become very successful, but also healthy and safe. You've heard about the mask extension, and I know that's frustrating for some folks, but it really is a public health measure. Despite a lot of misinformation online, masks make us healthier and safer. There's some myths that we'll put on the website here for you to look at, a link to busting some myths. And then there's some quality research on masks. They're not perfect though, of course. Mostly what they do is make sure that an infected individual doesn't spread their droplets either on surfaces or as an aerosol to other folks. It really matters a lot, and that's why the Department of Health and the governor are recommending we stick with masks to start our school year. I know they'll keep revisiting this question. We will urge them to, but for now, we got to do this. It's the right thing to do. I always think about it this way. Would you want somebody infected with COVID to sneeze next to you into a mask or without one? It's a huge difference in the spread of those droplets, and that's how we got the first couple waves of COVID under control in our state. The other reason we're wearing masks is obviously we want to make sure that we don't continue to spread this virus any more than we have to. And there are lots of folks in our communities who are not vaccinated. We do have a lot of vaccination in our state, over 4 million people, which is awesome. But that means 3 million people haven't done it yet, and 1 million can't even yet. They're generally birthed to age 11, some small fraction of folks with a medical condition. So we've got 2 million Washingtonians who I want to really encourage to reconsider their vaccination decision and make it happen. Do your research from credible sources like the CDC, our Washington State Department of Health, and researchers around the globe, and make that informed choice. Vaccines have been the difference maker for this planet, quite frankly, for the better part of 100 years. They are safe, they are well tested, they go through rigorous trials, and of course, as we learn more, they get better and better as well. You're also hearing about breakthrough cases. These are folks who are vaccinated who are unfortunately still getting viral load. They're getting infected. That's basically understood to be pretty natural. The virus constantly mutates. The key part here is those who are vaccinated are not seeing extreme health impacts. They're avoiding hospitalizations, and fortunately, we are avoiding the loss of life for those who are vaccinated. Remember, for every person in the state who ultimately had to go to a hospital as a result of COVID, 1 in 5 of those individuals died. 1 in 5 people who get to the point of having to go to a hospital as a result of COVID lose their life, and we want to avoid that. Think of it as a math question. So for my students out there and my parents and my educators, let's make it a math problem. Illustrative only, of course. If I have 6 dice and 6 of a kind represents a mutation, right? Because a lot of people aren't vaccinated and there are some breakthrough cases. We know viruses mutate all the time. Most of them are quite harmless, but occasionally one of those mutations turns into a pretty deadly serious variant that is hard to control, as we see with Delta, and in a worst case scenario starts to really escape our vaccinations. 6 dice. I'd have to roll these dice 50,000 times almost to get that combination. Sounds like pretty low probability, right? If I roll these dice 1 time every minute for 8 hours a day, it'd take me 3.5 months to roll 6 of a kind. But what happens when 2 million Washingtonians aren't vaccinated? That's a 40 times increase, right? Every 50,000 people rolling these dice unvaccinated, somebody's going to roll a 6 of a kind. It's just math. It's just probability. So when we get vaccinated and wear masks, we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting our neighbors, and we're decreasing the probability that we have a very deadly variant in time. It is just a question of us working together as a community, shared interest, looking out for our neighbors, our friends, our fellow classmates, our fellow educators, our fellow parents. We are in this together. We've made incredible progress. This vaccine is healthy and safe. It's going to allow our schools to stay open. And between vaccines and masks, we can dramatically reduce exposures and any risk of having to quarantine students and staff along the year. So mask up, get the vaccine if you haven't already. There's lots of time even before the school year. And let's have an incredible start to our year. Amazing learning, engaging students back to our athletics and our activities, our math, our science, our social studies, our arts. The stuff that makes public education so incredible sits right before us if we work together. Have an incredible start to the year. Thank you for all the work you've done. Let's have an incredible 21-22 school year.